college football tomorrow. Yes, now, what I did last year was the top 25. We're doing all the games for every single week on my predictions, so let's get it started. And sadly, there won't be any other reaction videos like I did last year, unless it's the Ducks, of course. I mean, I might throw in a few teams for reactions. Who knows if it's a good, entertaining game. Anyway, I know the Oregon Duck game shows on top, but actually tomorrow it all starts. So let's start with tomorrow's games. Miami versus Florida. Now, it is going to be like in Florida, but not in their stadium. I can't remember what the stadium's called, but still, though, it's at Florida. So basically, there really is no home field advantage. These two teams have, last time I think they played each other was 2013. And this is a tough one. Because I don't know why. I just feel like Miami would show up out of nowhere and Florida would just be somehow find a way to be a disappointment in the first game and all that. But I look at this matchup and I personally think Florida does win this game. They should by paper. But if Miami somehow wins this game, then Florida's chances not just to make college football playoffs is more harder. But it tells us what they could be for the rest of the season. Arizona versus Hawaii. I'm going with Arizona, because I feel like the Wildcats are going to play really good this season. Oregon versus Auburn, even though, like I said, that's in the next Saturday, but I don't care. Oregon versus Auburn. Somehow the Auburn Tigers are now favorite. So, kind of biased. Anyway, I look at this matchup right about here. They're going to use a new QB. The quarterback from last year is no longer with them. They finally decided on that. And really, it's a big game for Oregon, like I mentioned many times. It's not just a big game for Oregon, but a big game for the Pac-12, because you are basically in the same situation last year with a Pac-12 team going against an SEC team like Auburn. If Oregon beats Auburn, they have a good shot to make the college football playoffs. But if they do, then, well, those shots are slim. Not only that, just for Oregon, but also Pac-12 team. But I do believe the Ducks somehow, some might find a way to win against the Auburn Tigers. I'm going with the Oregon Ducks. All right, and yes, Albany for Central. We're going to the very low ones too. I'm going with Central Michigan against Albany. Morgan State versus Bowling Green. I'll go with Bowling Green, because why the heck not? Robert Morris versus Buffalo. Buffalo. UCLA versus Cincinnati. Now, UCLA last season, I really thought they were going to be good. Not like ranking good, but just a good enough team to at least have 8 wins. And I don't know why. I just feel like Chip Kelly with UCLA, they're going to find a way to step it all up. And this season, I'm not saying they're going to make the Pac-12 championship, but at least to a bowl game. So really, but overall, I'll have to go with Cincinnati on this one. Cincinnati beats UCLA. Wagner versus Connecticut. I'm going with Connecticut. Central Arkansas versus Western Kentucky. I'm going with Western Kentucky. Florida A&M versus University of Central Florida. Now, listen up. Listen up. University of Central Florida is trying to find a way get back in the New Year's Six Bowl, have almost another undefeated season. If they had their starting quarterback last season, I think they would have had another one. And they would be ranked higher than what they are now. But I will go with UCF to beat Florida A&M. Charlotte, I'm not going to pronounce those Bulldogs, not Georgia Bulldogs, but the Gardner-Webb running Bulldogs. Why? Why did you have to make up that type of long name? But I'm going with Charlotte. Alabama. Oh, no, that's not that Alabama team. Alabama State versus UAB. I'm going with UAB. Florida. I can't say the last name. Sorry. Tulane. I'm going with Tulane. Okay. Georgia Tech versus Clemson. Now, this matchup to me should be a fun matchup overall, because I don't know why. I just feel like Georgia Tech could find a way to pull an upset, but I'm not going to pick them. I'm going to go with Clemson. Texas State versus Texas A&M. Texas A&M. Is there any actually fan bases on Texas State? Anyway, South Dakota State versus Minnesota. I'm going with Minnesota. Arizona State versus Kent State. I am going with Arizona State. Northern Colorado versus San Jose State. San Jose State. Utah versus BYU. Ooh. We start this rivalry really quick. I look at this game right now. This should be a fun game to watch overall. But to be honest with you, Utah, in my opinion, is going to start slow. And that's why I'm going to go with BYU to beat Utah in the first game. You happy, you BYU fans? I think you are. Rice versus Army, I'm going with Army. Tulsa versus Michigan State, I'm going with Michigan State. Wisconsin versus South Florida. I'm going with Wisconsin because really Wisconsin, this year I feel like Wisconsin's going to look good and then all of a sudden in the end they're going to fall apart. I think that's what's going to happen. UMass versus Rutgers, I'm going with Rutgers. Utah State versus Wake Forest, I'm going with Utah State. Purdue versus Nevada, oh come on, Purdue. Colorado State versus Colorado. I am going with Colorado on this one because why not? Oklahoma State versus Oregon State. Now, let's be for real.
Oregon State is trash, okay?
The Beavers just think they can, this year, they think they can shock a lot of people. I'm going with Oklahoma State. I'm sorry, Oregon State. Not! Okay. Arcane versus Illinois. East Carolina versus NC State, North Carolina State. I'm going with NC State. Florida Atlantic versus Ohio State. Oh, yeah, definitely Florida Atlantic. No, it's Ohio State. Howard versus Maryland. I'm going with Maryland. Indiana versus Ball State. I am actually going to go with Indiana. Indiana State versus Kansas. Kansas, you're going to get a game winner. You're going to win a game. Cool. Mississippi versus Memphis. I'm going with Mississippi. I'm going with Ole Miss. Mississippi State versus Louisiana. I'm going to go with Mississippi State. Northern Iowa versus Iowa State. Iowa State. South Alabama. Oh, that's not Nebraska. I still trying to figure out what did Nebraska do to be ranked. I'm going with Nebraska. Toledo versus Kentucky. Kentucky. James Madison versus West Virginia. I'm going with West Virginia. Ohioans. I can't say that other name. McNeil versus Temple. Eastern Washington versus Washington. Now, the Dogs, they have a new quarterback. Eastern Washington has had a history of beating Pac-12 teams many times. But I'm not going with Eastern Washington because I still think that Washington in this game will win. I mean, like I said, Eastern Washington's done it before, but I don't think they can do it again. Alabama versus Duke. Oh, wait. Those are not the basketball teams? God, that would have been a fine matchup. I'm going with Alabama. What, you expect me to go with Duke of all teams? Good luck. Good luck, Duke. Colgate State versus Air Force. East Tennessee State versus Appalachian State. Eastern Michigan versus Coastal Carolina. GA State versus Tennessee. It'll be funny if Tennessee loses to GA State. I'm going with Tennessee. The Holy Cross versus Navy. Idaho versus Penn State. I'm going with Penn State. South Carolina versus North Carolina. Oh, boy, we got another rivalry quick like that. Okay, I'm going with North Carolina on this one. Montana State versus Texas Tech. I'm going... You know what? Upset alert. Montana State beats Texas Tech. Now, Northwestern versus Stanford. I think this is an interesting matchup for Stanford to begin the season because it's a team that made it to the Big Ten Championship. And Stanford last season, they had a shot to maybe make the playoffs. Maybe, but injuries got in the way. And I will go with Stanford in this. The thing is, though, Stanford has got to have a healthy season. Portland State versus Arkansas. I'm going with Portland State because Arkansas, I just know, will find a way to be a disappointment. Because let's be for real, they're the most disappointing team in the SEC, and I think we can all agree about that. Okay. Virginia Tech versus Boston College. I'm going with Boston College. Campbell versus Troy. I'm going with Troy. UTSA wins. I can't believe. Sam Houston State versus New Mexico. I'm going with New Mexico. Syracuse versus Liberty. I'm going with Syracuse. UC Davis versus Cal. I'm going with Cal. Virginia Military versus Marshall. Alcorn State versus Southern Miss. Boise State versus Florida State. You know what? No, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying you, Willie. I'm not buying it. I'm still ticked off on him. I'm not buying it. No. How many are they favored by? 5.5, so that means 5 points are a touchdown? No. Boise State. Upset. Screw you, Willie. Screw you. Okay. Illinois State versus Northern Illinois. I'm going with Northern Illinois. I can't believe I pronounced that wrong. I don't care. Western Michigan. I can't say that. Oklahoma State versus Kansas State. I'm going with Kansas State. Old Dominion versus Norfolk State. Old Dominion. SMU versus Arkansas State. I'm going with Arkansas State. Man, there's so many of these. Stephen F. Austin versus Baylor. North Texas. Come on. Georgia versus Vanderbilt. Georgia Southern versus LSU. I swear to God, if LSU loses to Georgia Southern, I'm making the biggest laugh in the history of this channel, even bigger than the last time I laughed at them. How did I laugh at them, by the way? How did I do that?
Who was right? Who was right? Who was right?
Huh. That's actually one of my best videos yet. Anyway, Ohio versus Iowa. I'm going with Iowa. Missouri versus Wyoming. I'm actually going to go with Wyoming on this one. MTSU versus Michigan. Virginia versus Pittsburgh. Arkansas Penn Bluff. Yeah, I don't care if I say that right. I don't care. Right or wrong. I don't care. TCU wins. Grambling State versus Louisiana Monroe. I'm going with Grambling State. Houston Baptist versus UTEP. UTEP wins. Louisiana Tech versus Texas. You know what? Texas loses. I'm saying it. I'm calling it. I just don't trust them in week ones. I don't. Weber State versus San Diego State. New Mexico State versus Washington State. Southern Utah versus UNLV. UNLV wins. Fresno State versus USC. I'm going with the Trojans. Houston versus Oklahoma. Now, the last time these two teams met each other, Houston blown them out completely. High-pitched voice right there. Completely. Okay. Houston completely blew out Oklahoma. They just destroyed them in that game. So I look at this matchup. I think this is overall going to be a very, 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 very fun matchup. But I'm going with Oklahoma on this one. All right, Notre Dame versus Louisville. I'm going with Notre Dame because Louisville sucks. So that's week one, ladies and gentlemen. What do you guys think? Who wins what? Leave a comment down below. Hit the like button, share it with your friends. Subscribe me for more videos like this one. This is TGTV Tank Mode. Sign off. And that means the Oregon Duck fan reactions are coming back. Woo! They're back.
Who's right? I picked Florida to win, and LSU not a contender. Who was right, ladies and gentlemen? Give a clap for me. Who was right? I want you to type in the comments. I want you all to type in the comments. TGTV tank mode was right. Who was right?